Libra, guys, reach out for one-on-one reading. Okay, this is not having to settle, and you're gonna get your match, whether it be romantic or occupation or some sort of partnership. Why the coldness here at the Queen of Cups? Yeah, some you've been waiting for someone or something to light your fire enough to want to make an offer to them. Well, this is you wanting to make an offer to someone, but they're at a distance, actually. Silent treatment, they cut ties. I mean, again, this is Libra relationship energy, so someone's at a decision. What's on either side of the decision, Spirit? Let me cut the deck. Stay at home or strategize forth towards something directly here, so as to help facilitate coming out of worry. What's the outcome? Discipline and restraint. Okay. So, yeah, can you clarify that? So, someone, I mean, they're at a crossroads, but they might not do anything about it. And that might garner some, you know, someone doesn't like that because it means that they're out of union. Um, and in a way, if it almost kind of forces them to act. But who's to say if that's the right thing for this one person to act? Because they got their own things going on that they're trying to grow and develop. And what do they know? That's inner knowing. What do they know? I guess this kind of protagonist person or person A would think that it's not their duty to try to put things back on track. And that's where, it's interesting because this is Cancer Leo. So this is the King of Wands here being restrained. Because you see he's on edge. He wants to kind of get up more. Because he's like, this bitch toppled all this shit over. And that's what this is encapsulating, that sentence. The Queen of Wands, more the feminine, critique, judgmental aspects are like, this bitch toppled something over. So person B, this is person A saying, that person toppled some shit over. Don't make me want to get up. This is still person A, now transformed into the king. But then Sophia or divine entity spirit is saying like, nope. Your form of like love is like patience in a way. So that you're holding, and it's so interesting that this is coming out for a Libra relationship. Because it's like this person has to learn, their lesson is to have to learn how to pick up the pieces and put them right together as they found it. It's almost as if they're so used to getting kind of bailed out that, you know, and of course you're kind of, you know, so like effervescent and maybe, I don't know if effulgent is the right word, but you can do that because you're coming from a place of abundant love. But your lesson is that kind of more restraint energy. What's the second or third chance here? Queen of Pentacle in the upright. Yeah, it's like you have to work on your stability before you could try to kind of rush over to them and help pick up the pieces of more of the intangible. Because I'm getting that obviously if they were able to topple something over, it's in the first place, person B, it's because they didn't revere it enough. Because they have some sort of maybe more earthly stability, but they're finding that earthly stability doesn't have as much worth or value. But whereas you might not revere the earthly stability because you're a cinch, you could do it anyway if that's your focus. And that's where more of the self-love lesson is coming for person A, the listener, the protagonist. If it's resonating with you, take it. Is don't necessarily live always in the potential or the hypothetical. At some point, you will have to kind of have some sort of worldly establishment in the form of personal, formative stability, foundational stability. And that should kind of be your focus, even though that's not what you're privy to. That's not your forte, because you're always used to kind of rushing and saving and helping put together. I think you get more of a squeeze out of that, some more juice out of that. But, you know, it doesn't hurt you to have your ducks in a row, to have your stability in order. And I'm getting that that's what kind of Spirit is asking that you do first and foremost. Don't let that fall wayside, because we still live in the tangible realm. And that helps you. That helps you with you grounding your energy and having a personal sense of stability. And it gives that other person, person B, a chance to come back and resolve and solve what they're learning now is actually valuable. And that's more of the kind of morally based, ethically inclined, intangibles. So that's how it's coming across here. I'm getting that you're elevating more so to a place of stability here. It could have been that that person was more stable, but they're realizing that their stability is kind of somewhat empty. And you have the benefit of not having that spell kind of over your stability. Then I'm feeling that you're building more so from the ground up. You're not going to take it for granted. And that in and of itself is a blessing as well. You could have come from a situation where you were on top, but you were kind of an inheritor of it, so you didn't know any better to appreciate it. But now I'm getting that you're kind of creating it on your own. You're using your experience that you got from before, and now you're able to kind of rebuild something to your fitting, to your setting. Yeah, and I think that you're a little irritated on the timeline of things. Devils or idle hands are the devil's playground type energy here. But I think you're in a good enough kind of setting or way about you where you're not gonna completely kind of combust. You're not gonna completely implode here, because you know that something good is coming. So this is not the point to throw the baby out with the bathwater, is what I'm getting here. You are going to see this expanse, and you might not know it or see it or know what it is yet, but you're close, because this is double confusion. The tails are spinning on the compass, trying to find true north, because the highest potential of reality, quantumly, the timeline is being set right now. So trust and have faith that it's going to be the highest for you. Okay, and it's going to be with soul members on your path here, a bright future, golden background, even though you can't see it right now. Okay, so just continue to invest in the positivity with where you're at now, and get ready to get on a move, because you're going to be seeing some movement here. I would say even as near and dear as the next 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. I would say maybe the first week of June, something like that. Because this is like a new month here. Yeah, work. Definitely going to hear news about work. It's going to be a reward for you not settling, for you being on the right kind of side of history here. Yeah, it's going to bring a lot of ending to conflict here for you. You'll just have to make sure that it's not going to be like a situation where like fair weather friends or people will want to suddenly, rush towards you. It's like, where were you, when I was by myself celebrating personal victories, excuse me. Yeah, it's good to see that you're growing and advancing past the negativity and past the kind of harder lifestyles as far as output and labor intensive. I just, if you're coming from more of a labor background or something more that required a lot more hustle, I'm getting that this is going to be more of a period of ease for you. Which is rightly so, because you've put enough kind of exertion in the game here, is what I'm getting. Yeah, you've definitely invested enough of yourself. To me, this is just more so not seeing the future. I'm not really kind of reading too much into it. But I will see that you're going to get your fair share. You're going to get your due, even though you might not see it. And not for nothing, I do think it's going to kind of coincide with your personal romantic relationship as well. I think one affects the other. I think your energetic well-being and you feeling good about your, financial situation and stability, it's definitely going to transfer into your kind of relational. Again, I think the advice would be to not necessarily hold that resentment, not take it out on the next new people that you come across, as far as like, where were you when I needed you? Know that, and this is not to try to say like, oh, it's your doing or your fault or whatever, but know that it's kind of, it's this kind of feedback loop of who you're willing to expose your life to is a direct reflection of how secure you feel and where you're at. And if unconsciously all you've known is a certain level of success, then I feel as though maybe that if you have been seeing a period of being out of partnership, then that's as a result of maybe you not being at that level of success that you're familiar with. But once you get back there, then I feel as though, and yes, on the practical side, money helps, everything, but I just feel as though that you had to learn this lesson about the appreciation of your own kind of man-made stability, self-made stability. And that's going to really kind of carry over into just kind of being able to be proud and grateful and know the value of what it is that you've created. So in that kind of secular way, it's influencing, I think, the other areas of your life, such as romance. As opposed to looking at things negative, like, oh, you're only fair weather, you're only here because of the resources, and you're only here because. But to play devil's advocate, I think that there is maybe some significance in someone having a personal sense of being able to bring something to the table and carry with them a sense of stability. But I think what separates you is that you were able to experience from the ground up somehow, some way, however, specified your personal story is. That's what I'm kind of getting here. Because this is coming back as a whole kind of like, almost like a Jupiter return part 2 type energy. Yeah, and especially with Jupiter and Taurus. So, all right, guys, let's roll this on over to Scorpio. I'll let you boy for more. Peace.